we're also working on a stock market prediction, but we're going to approach it from an NLP point of view. And the problem is that daily there are thousands and thousands of financial articles that are published every day on Reuters, Bloomberg, Yahoo News, and so on. And the question that we want to ask is that can we leverage this data to predict the future of stock market prices? And what we've done so far is that we've collected data from Reuters. We have about 600 megabytes of data. And we've also grabbed the stock data, the stock price data for the companies that are mentioned in the Reuters articles. So we've processed the articles to identify stock tickers. And whenever a stock ticker is mentioned, we have grabbed the price there. And we have basically we've correlated the data that we have, the textual data that we have, to the stock market data that we have grabbed. And basically the textual data contains the title, the publisher, the text, the main text of the article, obviously, and as well as the time that it was processed. So right now, basically, the data that we're working with is articles that are basically, think of stock market. We have sort of the movement of the market, and at certain time steps, we have basically a mark that there is a certain article that was published at that time. And what we have done so far in terms of NLP is we have done the standard stripping out of HTML and all of the metadata. We have done basic NLP techniques like stemming to remove, basically, to sort of make all the different tenses of the words sort of correlate with each other, I guess. And I guess now Chris is going to talk about the current approach to the problem that we are tackling, and Daniel's going to talk about the modifications that we plan.
Okay. So I guess I could start with a paper by Shoemaker in 2006-ish. What they did was they examined the types of ways you could represent a document. So there's a bag of words, an entity, noun, verb, and they trained a system and showed some predictive power. So that's sort of like a success story. We're going to try to improve on their scheme, hopefully. Another aspect of it is random walk theory, which basically says it fails. It doesn't work. It does. And I don't believe in failure, so let's ignore that. Another hypothesis is the efficient market hypothesis, which is mentioned in, I think, Geofalvi's paper. That basically says that anytime opportunity to profit arises in the market, someone takes advantage of it, so there's actually no way for you to take advantage of that opportunity. But Geofalvi goes on to say that he trained a naive Bayes classifier, and he experienced some predictive power within an interval of 20 minutes prior and 20 minutes after articles publishing. So we may look into a smaller time scale. There was also a reference of genetic algorithms being used, and sentiment analysis in blogs and Twitter. I haven't really read those papers, but I believe that's what they're doing right now, I guess.
So what's done so far is actually really, really stupidly simple. They literally just take an article, they pull out whatever features they can, which is usually means either bag of words or, oh, I think, I'm only going to care about proper nouns and verbs associated with them. And that's my entire feature set. I'm just going to do basic supervised learning. They're terrible. They, on average, you will see that if you say, okay, is the stock ticker going to go up or down? If you choose random, it's basically 50%. And if you use one of their well-touted systems that they published in IEEE, they get maybe 60% if they're really lucky, more like 55. And people who actually tried to build automated trading strategies out of there, one of them was up there, out of 4 weeks, they made a profit of 0.1%, which I guess is better than losing, but not worth a whole lot. And there was a lot of heuristics they pushed into that too. Anyway, so the point is where we're going to go from here is that their MLP is really stupid, and I think we can do better. So the first thing is that we're actually going to try to take a more principled approach to actually looking at the data itself. So, for example, the bag of words model, we'll say, I'm going to look at this article and I believe it's about this one person, and then I just see what happens afterwards. That's not at all true. They talk about this person and then it adversely affects their neighbors or helps their competitors. So we're going to look at the NLP aspect, we're going to pull out sentences that are actually appropriate, and we're going to do whatever necessary to actually get useful features out of those. Secondly is that most of the articles we've seen so far just look at just news or just Twitter or something, and it's ignoring a lot. I mean, the whole reason we're looking at news is because we think just looking at the financial tickers themselves isn't enough information, so it doesn't make sense to ignore that just to look at our own little toy problem. Also of interest is that the words themselves may just be inadequate in the sense that there's hidden topics. So what they're really trying to convey is a message behind those words that maybe we just can't see so simply. So the idea is to apply a topic model and then hopefully relate the articles, or relate the model, those topics themselves to actually direction in the market. And then given a new article, we could say which topic is most relevant to this. Is this even a topic worth mentioning in terms of direction of the market? And then last of all, things that other articles didn't mention is that they say, oh, where you took a look at stock tickers 10 minutes into the future after this is published, 20 minutes, maybe a day. They don't do any sort of they don't look at cross time spans. They don't see what's actually happening. So we're hoping that getting finer tuned data in the stock market, we can do analysis of that sort. And that's at least the general direction. Do you have another thing? I mean, I don't have too much to say at this point.
Okay.
Other than, I could talk about all the other older articles and how bad they failed, but that's not of too much interest, I suppose.